Yo, what's up, guys? We're gonna go through some. Hopefully, we're gonna find some good plays for today. So we've had a pretty good run on these live streams on Underdog Fantasy. So you can see Underdog Fantasy. I mean, we hit 3 plays in a row on the live stream, or this one was given out on Twitter. But we had some good runs. We've had a good run on Underdog on this live stream, just kind of following the data, looking for value. Here was the play from last night. So, in 16 minutes, we just need Photon to get 3 kills in the first map. And then that was our underdog play from last night. And then we have some decent starts on PrizePicks. Again, just kind of finding value in the market. Not everything green, but we do have some good starts. So hopefully we can find some good bets for today. So the first play, 100% recommend betting this if you can, is on Fliff, right? So I say this all the time, but you never know which book is going to have, good bets on a given day. Last night, we found a lot of value on PrizePicks. Here's a really good bet on Fliff, right? Whereas if you look at PrizePicks right now, the board's actually pretty dry. I don't know, man, but the board's a little dry right now on PrizePicks. So unfortunately, there's not much value on PrizePicks right now. But if you look at Fliff, right? Paulo over 5.5 assists. They have this line at -110, right? This doesn't make any sense. Fliff has Banchero favored to go under. All these other sports books, FanDuel, DraftKings, yada, yada, they all have him heavily favored to go over. So I actually locked this in at +100 odds. Now it's down to -110, but it still looks really freaking good. So I'm not sure if there's an injury or honestly, I don't even know. Like sometimes I check out these injuries, lineups, lineup changes. I don't know. Like sometimes these line movements, all these sports books set their own odds, their own lines. So that also means they all need to manage their own lines. So you can see Fliff here. They had him at +100 2 hours ago. Now they moved him down to -110, which still looks really good. All the other books have his over heavily favored. But I'm not really sure why all these other sports books have ripped him to being a huge favorite to go over. Clearly, he's expected to get more assists now. Usually it's lineup driven, who's playing, who's not playing. So maybe it's like this, Fultz questionable for Monday. I don't know. Like, again, everything is baked into the market, the odds that sports books are putting out. So it's really simple. We're kind of like buying a stock at $110 when it's trading in the market at 150. So that's how I like to think about it, at least. You could also arbitrage bet this. Again, it would have been better if I did this live stream a bit ago when it was still at +100, because this arbitrage play would have been even juicier. But arbitrage is just, it's when two sports books are screwing up. So like when two books have such different odds, all these books set their own odds. DraftKings has him -150 to go over. Fliff is -110, right? So these two books are super out of sync. So arbitrage betting is just when two books have such different odds that you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, the over on Fliff, right? The under on DraftKings, and make a risk-free profit because they have such different odds from one another. So you may be like, okay, well, why don't you bet this again at, -110 odds? But unfortunately, Fliff, they have a max bet size. They have a max bet size of only $250. So I couldn't bet it again if I wanted to, but you could arbitrage bet this with DraftKings and make $10 risk free. Bet $250 on his over at -110, bet $216 on his under at +120. You're going to make a risk free profit. But anyways, let's skip over that for now. And maybe let's hopefully try to find some PrizePicks plays, Underdog Fantasy. I mean, let's try to find something. So where do we want to start? Maybe we start on ParlayPlay. And I know it's not the most popular book. It's not the sexiest book, but hey, I recommend if you're using PrizePicks, ParlayPlay, it's probably legal in your state. They give you an $100 deposit match when you first sign up. You put in 100, you get 100 for free. I put my refer a friend code below. They have a 10% deposit promo today. So I can put in another $250. They give me $25 for free. All these books have good promos, but most importantly, they all set their own lines, right? And we never know where the value is going to be on a given day. So actually, let's just kind of check out this first play. Player points Cameron Johnson, let's just kind of see what the deal is. What's the deal with Cameron Johnson? So if we go here, whoops. So I got to refresh this. I mean, it looks like they may have just completely removed his line. So if we go to Johnson, I just see Keldon. So it looks like they got rid of Cameron Johnson's line. But anyways, the first play, very scary. Devin Booker has been on a roll. But again, like, I follow a very data-driven approach. The data never lies long-term. I don't bet with my gut, right? So if you look at Devin Booker, all the other sports books, like there's literally 50 books. All these books have sophisticated models. They're taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in. They're, injury news, lineup news. Like it's all baked into the market. It's all baked into the odds that sports books are putting out. So you're going to see all of these books have Booker at 34.5. Most of these books actually have his under favored, like FanDuel has his under as a minus 120 favorite. And we're able to get him at 35.5, or shit, they already bumped him down to 34.5. So they're bumping things quicker, which is annoying. They're bumping things a little quicker. Anyways, you can also see there's a lot of value. I mean, just kind of bouncing around from book to book here, but definitely lock in this play on Fliff to start the day. I mean, minus 110 is crazy. All these other books have it priced around minus 150, So, I mean, this is just a no-brainer. Either arbitrage bet it with DraftKings or just hit it straight up at minus 110. But anyways, what we can go to next is, why don't we lock in a Dabble slip? So what sucks about Dabble, this is another new fantasy site. It works just like PrizePicks, just like Underdog Fantasy. It works in exactly the same way, right? So if you go to PrizePicks, you're going to see they have Allen's line at 11 rebounds. Dabble has his line at 10.5. So the value goes away on PrizePicks, right? It may not seem like a big deal. Who the fuck cares if I bet 10.5 or 11? But this really makes a big difference long term. In terms of your ROI, what you can actually do is you can check out sports books and you can see how big of a deal. So if we just go to the Cavs game as an example, and do they have up alternate rebounds? So you can see one rebound, it goes from minus 144 to plus 102. So these are big jumps in the odds, right? Like Jared Allen, he's favored to go under 11.5 rebounds, but he's favored to go over 10.5, right? So the way that Dabble works, though, it's just like PrizePicks, right? PrizePicks is a fixed payout sports book, right? You take Grayson Allen over, under, whatever. Any two picks you select, you're always getting a 3x payout. That's just the way PrizePicks works, right? So you go here and you include a League of Legends pick. I mean, include whatever you want. Two picks, 3x payout. Doesn't matter if you take overs or unders. So basically, you just want to find picks that are winning at the highest possible rate. So if you look at this play on, Jared Allen, and unfortunately, Dabble doesn't have a website that you can bet through, but all of the sports books have his over heavily favored. They have Jared Allen heavily favored to go over 10.5 rebounds. So the over's the much more likely outcome, and that's the play we want to be on. So this is in the Cavs game. So we can build a slip. I mean, Dabble has had a lot of value recently. I mean, we got down some good plays on PrizePicks yesterday during the live stream. It seems like PrizePicks is a little dry right now. I mean, we got some sexy-ass NBA slips for tonight already. And then we got this on Underdog. So we'll check them out in a sec, right? As kind of lineup news comes out, the market's always moving. So sometimes, especially as we get closer to the game time, who's playing, who's not playing, who's on a minutes restriction, as sharp action comes in, that's going to move around the market and, we'll probably be able to find some good bets. But what we can do is we can just kind of start out with Dabble. So here's another play that's absolutely beautiful is Colin Sexton under 6 first quarter total points. So if you go here to points, right? Player points, first quarter. And again, it seems like such a random bet, but if that's where the value is, I mean, that's what I'm going to be betting, right? So you look at FanDuel, they have his line at 4.5. PrizePicks Underdog, 5.5. Caesars, ESPN, DraftKings have his line at 5.5, right? So even if you only use Dabble, I mean, this is still a data point, right? It's still, FanDuel, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, $10 billion company. They're taking bets, moving around their lines based on where action's coming in, especially action from their sharp or profitable customers. They have better models than you. Like, so many people always say, yo, I want to create a better model than FanDuel. That's how I'm going to beat the sports books. I'm going to create my own model. It's like, how are you going to create a better model than a $10 billion company with way more money than you, way more employees than you, engineers? It's not going to work. The way you're going to beat the books is by finding inefficiencies in the market and taking advantage of them. So this can be the second pick we include in our dabble slip, right? Under 6 for Sexton. All the other books, 4.5, 5.5. You could also middle bet this, right? You could bet the over 4.5 on FanDuel, the under 6 on dabble. If he has 5 points in the first quarter, you win on FanDuel, you win on dabble, right? Based on this inefficiency and where they're setting their lines. On the other hand, if he has 6 points, you would push on dabble. So if you play it as a 3-pick entry, it'll go down to a 2-pick entry. But anyways, whatever. So all this optimizer is doing is just pointing out value in the market, and we're just trying to take advantage of that value and find some profitable bets. And again, like, why are we focused on dabble? It's like, well, I mean, PrizePicks is a little dry right now. So maybe we'll go to PrizePicks here in a sec, but we got some better things to focus on for now. And there's already some NFL bets showing up. I think the 49ers opened as very slight favorites, which you can see here. It actually looks like lines have slightly moved towards the Chiefs. They have, right? So you can see early action is coming in on Patrick Mahomes. The 49ers opened as -127. Now they're down to -111. So the market is telling you, hey, the 49ers are still favored, but they're less big of favorites, right? You can see here, this odds jam algo odds column is just like a weighted average of all the different sports books. There's hundreds of sports books on odds jam. So they're all just, this odds jam algo odds column is just kind of a weighted average. So it should be a really good Super Bowl. I mean, very slight favorites. I fucking hate that the 49ers won. It would have been awesome to see the Lions, Ravens, but hey, guess we're not going to get that this year. Maybe next year. But anyways, what we can do is let's go back here and let's look for some other good plays on dabble, because dabble has a lot of good plays. And then we can go to PrizePicks. So look at this play, right? Like Rozier under 5.5 assists. So if you take a look at all the sports books, right? I'm not saying this plays a lock, a guaranteed win, none of that bullshit. But if you look at the line movement charts, the market, which again is a reflection of lineups, injuries, betting volume, sharp action, where are profitable customers betting? Like, these sports books aren't stupid. Everything is baked into the odds, the lines that they're putting out. All these books have Rozier heavily favored to go under 5.5 assists. So now we kind of have different options. So what we can do is on dabble, right? We have 3 picks. We have Rozier under 5.5 assists. We have Sexton under 6 first quarter total points, and we have Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds. So what we can do is we can just pair them together. I mean, it's pretty simple. Is Suns Heat. The issue is they make it a little bit of a pain to kind of Suns Heat. We want Rozier under 5.5 assists. So Rozier under 5.5 assists, Sexton under 6 first quarter total points, and then we have Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds. That's a beautiful entry. I'm going to go ahead and lock it in. And on dabble, what's nice about dabble is if you follow me on dabble, I think my username is just Alex Monahan. You can see all my bets, and you can like copy them directly on the app. Like, you can copy my exact bets. So what we could do, though, if we wanted to, is, some people would be like, oh, why don't you only give out one play a day? Just like one bet. And it's like, nobody knows the future. Bets either have an edge or they don't have an edge, right? This play on Paulo to go over 5.5 rebounds, over 5.5 assists. This is an incredible play. Fliff is asleep at the wheel. Fliff is the only market data point, the only book with his under favored. Every other book has ripped him to being a huge favorite to go over 5.5 assists. This is a great play to go with. It's not a guaranteed win. It's just a bet with an edge, right? So you want to place as many bets with an edge as possible on a daily basis. Not every bet's going to win, but if all your plays have a mathematical advantage, you'll win over the course of the long run. it's kind of like if there's a coin that's 55% to show up on heads, you can flip it, but you want to flip it a bunch of times, right? If you're betting with a friend, heads or tails for $100, and you have a coin that's 55% to show up on heads, you want to flip that coin over and over and over again. You have an edge. You know you're going to win long term. You just got to let the math work itself out. But anyways, man, waiting on my smoothie from DoorDash. So what do we want to go to next? So what we could do is we could go to this play, right? And it's the same thing. Like the strategy doesn't change. It's just following the data points. Like regardless of how smart you think you are, like I it's very arrogant. Like I'm not smarter, right, than these multi-billion-dollar books who are taking all these bets. They're taking bets from sharp, profitable customers, moving lines based on where action's coming in. They have better models, better everything, right? And it's not just, so like Tyler Hero, all the sports books, it's not just one sports book. They all have him heavily favored to go over 3.5 assists. So that seems like a great play to go with. So what we can do is get rid of the play on Rozier and play another 3-pick entry, right? Hero over 3.5 assists, Sexton under 6 points, Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds. And obviously just like size your bets accordingly. We're placing a bunch of bets with an edge. It doesn't make sense to include Rozier under, right? If the game's a blowout, if there's a blowout, right? Or actually, I'm not sure. Like if you take Tyler Hero over and Rozier under, Rozier is now, part of the Heat. He's now on the Heat. It's like if Tyler Hero, maybe they make sense to pair together. The only thing you want to be careful of on these DFS sites is the correlation. So I'm not sure like how much is Rozier going to play? Who's he going to be, is he going to be who's he going to be subbing in for? I mean, I'm not sure. It's not always clear. So like, for example, if you take one over and one under, it's actually positively correlated. So I'm actually wrong. So if you look at Tyler Hero, right, Terry Rozier, his points line is at 15.5. There's the same odds on FanDuel. Whoops. So if we just go to points, where's player points? So if we just go here, that's better. Man, what is going on? So if you take a look here, right, like Tyler Hero, if you take his over and Terry Rozier's under, your parlay comes out to plus 220. Whereas if you take both overs together, even though the odds on Rozier, right, his over and his under are both minus 110. But FanDuel, they price in correlation, right? So if you take both overs together, they give you a better payout, plus 241. Whereas if you take Hero's over, Rozier's under, your parlay goes down to plus 220. So they're giving you a worse payout, which indicates to you that, hey, these plays are positively correlated, right? So if Tyler Hero goes over, Rozier is more likely to go under. And FanDuel's telling you that through their same game parlay odds. They have the same odds on Rozier's over and under, but if you take both overs, you're getting a better payout as opposed to one over and one under. So that actually makes a lot of sense, is we want to take Rozier under, Tyler Hero over an assist, right? So that kind of makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And then Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds. Again, like you can run different slips on Dabble. It just kind of depends, but these plays are definitely all good. They all have an edge. So it's just kind of about locking them in. So what we can do is we can make a 5-pick entry as well. But anyways, maybe let's check out PrizePicks for a sec. PrizePicks is still pretty dry. Same with Underdog Fantasy. I mean, we can check out Fliff as well. So, I mean, this play, it's shocking that they haven't moved this line. I mean, this has been available forever, so hopefully you've been able to get it down. 6.55% profit margin, right? Fliff is the only book with his under favored. Every other book has his over around like minus 150. And again, you could just arbitrage bet this. you could just arbitrage bet this, right? Over 5.5, and then we have under 5.5. And we can go through the math very briefly of just kind of how does arbitrage betting work, right? Arbitrage just means you're going to make a risk-free profit, right? So on Fliff, they have a max bet size of 250. So you just pull up this little arbitrage calculator. It tells you, hey, bet 216.94 on DraftKings. I mean, I always recommend just round your numbers. Don't sketch out the sports books. Don't bet 216.94. Just round this to 215, right? So here we have over 5.5, under 5.5. Here's what we're betting. I just rounded this down to 215. The calculator tells me I'm going to make 1033 risk-free profit, but because I rounded this down to 215, it'll be a little different depending on if, he goes over or under 5.5 assists. So if he goes over, we win our bet on Fliff, 250 times 100 over 110, right? That's what betting at minus 110 means. We're winning. We're going to profit 250 times 100 over 110. And then on DraftKings, we lose $215. So our net profit is $12, right? So arbitrage, you're just like, it's like buying a stock for 10, selling it on a different platform, Fidelity, for 12. You buy at 10 on E-Trade, you sell at 12 on, Fidelity or whatever. So we make $12 in risk-free profit, and you can, if you care about the math, you can take a screenshot. Now, on the other hand, if he goes under, on Fliff, we lose $250. We bet is over for the max we could, 250. On DraftKings, we win 215 times 1.2, 258. We make $8. Again, I said the calculator tells you you're going to make 1033, but because we rounded our numbers a bit, it's going to be slightly different depending if he goes over or under. But regardless of what happens, if he has 6 assists, 10 assists, 1 assist, 0 assists, doesn't matter, right? We make a risk-free profit regardless. So that's arbitrage betting. But anyways, here's another arbitrage play. And again, the more books you use, the better. Sometimes there's really good arbitrage bets on different sports books, a lot on FanDuel, Bovada, so the more books you're using, the better. But anyways, so we also have CJ McCollum under 3.5 first quarter total points. So if you wanted to, that seems like a good play, is you could take Jared Allen over. So we're all over this Jared Allen over, but you could take, even Zion over, McCollum under in first quarter total points. So again, the way that dabble works is it's just like PrizePicks. If we take a player to go over or under, we're going to get the same payout regardless. But if you go here to the Pelicans game, right, and you look at player points, CJ McCollum, first quarter points, right, he's a huge favorite to go under 3.5 first quarter points. And that pairs pretty well with Zion over 25.5 points plus rebounds, right? McCollum under first quarter. And then we have Zion over 25.5 points plus rebounds. So those plays kind of pair well together as well. So just in the Pelicans game. The Pelicans game is at 4:30. Damn, they're playing the Celtics. So points plus rebounds, Zion over 25.5. That seems solid. Same line as Porzingis. You can see here all the books have his over heavily favored, or they have his line higher, right? Like if you look at FanDuel, again, all of these books, have really sophisticated models. They're taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in. I'm not saying FanDuel is perfect, but it's just a data point, right? They have Zion's line higher at 26.5. All these other books also have Zion's line higher at 26.5, or they have his over heavily favored. So that seems like a great play to go with, although it looks like it just got a little worse. So maybe we skip that over. And instead, we just take McCollum's under 3.5 first quarter total points, which seems good. Again, OddsJam it's pretty simple. It's just reading in odds from all these sports books and pointing out value. So we have McCollum. So many bets. Man, they have a ton of options on Dabble. I feel like they're adding a lot of markets. So Hero over an assist. right? Rozier under in assists, Jared Allen over in rebounds. We have McCollum under 3.5 first quarter total points. And then we could go with, let's just kind of refresh this very briefly. Man, Fliff literally is just not going to move this line. It's crazy. But anyways, we can go back here and we can go to Sexton under 6. I mean, I get it. I've included these slips. I've included these plays a few times, but hey, these are all good plays with an edge. So it doesn't always make sense. Like some people will be like, oh, you're saying bet Sexton under 6 first quarter points. Can I bet him under in full points for the game? And it's like, maybe, but maybe there's value. Maybe there's not. I don't know. It depends where the value is. So we have first quarter points. Crazy. Man, we got a lot of bets on. A lot of bets on Dabble. And again, I included my link below to sign up for Dabble. They don't really have a good sign-up bonus. I mean, a lot of these sports books give you like, an $100 deposit match when you first sign up. You sign up, you put in 100, you get 100 for free. I think on Dabble, they just like give you $10 or something like that. So not as juicy as some of the other ones, but you already want to have multiple books just because, again, PrizePicks is pretty dry right now, which sucks. I'm sure on the live stream later or tonight or whatever, there'll probably be some good plays, but right now it's just a little dry. Underdog Fantasy, pretty dry, right? So sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're not. And right now it seems like they're a little cold. Anyways, you can see there's a lot of value on ParlayPlay though. So like here, I mean, Mahomes under 5 rushing attempts, Paul George over 2.5 made threes. So ParlayPlay actually has the exact same payouts as PrizePicks for their 6-pick entries, right? So like these platforms work in the same way. The only difference is they have different lines from one another, right? So you look here on ParlayPlay, a 2-pick entry, you're getting a 3x payout. On PrizePicks, a 2-pick entry, you're getting a 3x payout, right? 3x payout. And same thing with Underdog Fantasy. You're getting a 3x payout for 2-pick entries. The only difference is where are these books setting their lines? So what we can do is, take a look at Paul George. Like this play is not available on PrizePicks. Otherwise, we'd bet it on PrizePicks, but it's not available on PrizePicks. And you'll see, right, all the books have Paul George, including Pinnacle, which is known to be a really sharp, sophisticated sports book. They're available basically everywhere in the world. They take a lot of bets. They have higher bet sizes. It's a more liquid, active market. All these books have Paul George heavily favored to go over 2.5 made threes. So that's a good pick on ParlayPlay. Again, on ParlayPlay, we take a player to go over, under. It doesn't matter. They give us the same payout regardless. So we want to take George's over. It's a profitable pick on ParlayPlay because all the sports books have his over heavily favored. So, I mean, I don't really want to place NFL bets. I mean, obviously the game's still now 2 weeks away, which is a little depressing, but we'll skip over that play. So we have Giannis under 43.5 points plus rebounds. So we can take a look here. Nope, I got to go back to NBA. So we want Giannis under 43.5 points plus rebounds. A very scary player to fade, but that's where the value is. That's where the value is. So let's take a look at Giannis's line. Again, all the books have his line. FanDuel, Caesars, they have his line at 42.5 with the under favored, right? The under is not only favored, it's juiced, right? So on ParlayPlay, we take his over or his under. We're getting the same payout. You definitely don't want to take his over because you're getting ripped off, right? The play with value is Giannis's under 43.5 points plus rebounds. All the other books not only have his line lower at 42.5, but you can see they have his under favored or his under juiced. FanDuel has his under as a minus 125 favorite. So let's refresh this. And we got 2 good picks on ParlayPlay. Paul George over 2.5 made threes. We got Giannis under 43.5 points plus rebounds. And let's just kind of see what else is available. There's also Giannis under 31.5 points. So if you'd prefer to just fade Giannis in terms of player points, we can do that instead. We can just say, okay, this seems even better, right? Player points. So you can kind of pick. I mean, so if you look at Giannis, let's see, right? All the other books have his line, at 31.5 with the under heavily favored. Caesars has his under 31.5 as a minus 163 favorite. But anyways, let's just kind of keep plugging away on this parlay play slip. We're wasting way too much time. So we have Austin Reeves over 1.5 made threes. Lakers are playing the Rockets. Jeremy Grant under 19.5 points. I'm not sure why this Trailblazers game, only Bovada's posting odds. I don't know why most books don't have player prop odds posted yet for the Trailblazers game. Maybe we're waiting on some lineup announcement or something like that. If we go to the Trailblazers game, well, it looks like FanDuel put up lines, but not for most players. I don't know. But anyways, let's refresh this. So we have Paul George over. We have Giannis under 31.5 points. So what else do we want to go with? Or let's change Giannis back to the points plus rebounds because that looked a little better. So what we want to do is we want to go to him, steal plus blocks, and then we want to go to Giannis under 43.5 points plus rebounds. And we just want to move quick. We don't want the line to move on us. And this, this play on Halpern, it pairs pretty well with this play on Reeves. If the game's not a blowout, they'll both get more playing time. So hopefully, these plays are positively correlated, maybe a little bit. Not saying a lot, but maybe a little bit. We have Gafford under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. All the books have his under heavily favored. And now we have Paulo over in Devin Booker under 30.5 points. Man, fading Booker. So what we can do is we can go here and we can take him under 30.5 points, right? And this is the same payout as PrizePicks. Or no, it's not. Your payouts are different. So they're reducing the payout due to correlation, which doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to have to get rid of one of these plays. Now you're going to see we don't have an issue. There's no payout reduction, but we're going to have to find, long story short, a new play, which is super annoying, is we can take Josh Giddey under 11 rebounds plus assists. So if we just kind of take a look at this, I kind of like to pull up the market, pull up the data, see what's going on. So if you take a look at Josh Giddey, all the other fantasy sites have his line at 10.5. FanDuel has his line at 10.5 with the under favored. ParlayPlay has his line at 11. What's nice about ParlayPlay is they kind of let you create your own little Taco Tuesday discount. So if you want to bet him, you could move his line. You could bump his line up to 11.5 and take the under. You can only do it once per day. It essentially allows you to bump a line in your direction, but whatever. We'll kind of skip that over for now. And you can see they already moved the line on Paul George, which is what I was worried about with spending too much time on a particular slip. They bump some of these things pretty quickly. So we can change it to Kawhi Leonard under 31.5 points plus rebounds. Hopefully this play didn't move. And we can take a look at the market real quickly. Points plus rebounds. And you can see Kawhi's line. All the other books have his line at 30.5. It's essentially like, just following market data. It's basically just like, I know I'm not going to outmodel and outsmart these multi-billion-dollar companies. And there's not just one sports book, right? You have hundreds of books all setting lines independently, taking bets, reacting to lineup news, injury news. They all have Kawhi's line at 30.5. Why do you think you're smarter than every other sports bettor, right? Then the sports books with their really sophisticated models. They're taking bets and moving around lines based on where action's coming in. So it's just following the data. It's like if you could buy Facebook stock at $300, that would be a no-brainer. You don't have to know anything about Facebook. You just know there's millions of investors who wake up every single day and think, oh, is Facebook a buy or a sell? There's all these quantitative hedge funds, trading firms. This is the price, 402, where supply and demand meet. $1 trillion company. So like if you could buy Facebook at a 25% discount, that would be an absolute no-brainer. But anyways, so some good arbitrage plays, especially if you use Bet Online and FanDuel. I mean, here's another arbitrage play, right? We already talked about this play on Paulo, but like here's another one. Lock it in, make some risk-free money because why not? But anyways, we can go over to PrizePicks. Pretty dry. So here's our parlay play slip. Again, I included a link below to sign up for ParlayPlay if you don't already use it. They have a $100 deposit match for new users. So check it out. All these books have pretty lucrative, juicy sign-up bonuses. And again, like depending on where you're located, you may use different sports books. There's always good bets on FanDuel, especially college basketball bets. There's been a lot of college basketball value on FanDuel recently. So take advantage of it. But again, on these live streams, I try to focus on the main sports books, Fliff, PrizePicks, because they're legal in basically every state. Dabble is legal in basically every state. But it does look like there's some plays coming up on PrizePicks. Mason Plumlee under 16.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. That seems pretty good. I gave out yesterday Plumlee under 7.5 rebounds. So this play is a little correlated, but hey, if this is where the value is on PrizePicks, I mean, we can check it out. We want Plumlee under 16.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Again, so many people like to look at these last 5 graphs. It's all baked in to the market, right? It's already baked into the lines that sportsbooks are putting out. Unless you have some secret information, if you're friends with Plumlee, maybe you know something that the market doesn't know. So the next play we have is Fox under 4.5 rebounds. I mean, that's a low rebound line, but you can see all the books have him favored to go under, or Keegan Murray under 6.5 rebounds. So that seems like another good play on PrizePicks. But again, the board's pretty dry overall. CJ McCollum to not get a block. I mean, there's a little bit of value, but maybe not enough to place a slip. I mean, the real value right now is on Dabble, right? Like if PrizePicks had Jared Allen's line at 10.5, we would be slamming it. He's a huge favorite to go over. You got to remember, like sportsbooks tell you what the probability a bet wins is through their odds. On PrizePicks, to be profitable, you got to be able to win these over-unders, just like Plumlee over under 16.5. We have some videos about this on the Odds Jam, YouTube, all that stuff. But on PrizePicks, to be profitable, playing 5-pick flex plays, you got to be able to win your over-unders, just like Plumlee over under 16.5, above 54.25% of the time. Not easy to do, right? You got to win like 55, only losing 45% of your picks. And it's roughly the same for Dabble. Dabble is another fixed payout website. You got to win your player props, your over-unders above 55% of the time to be profitable. Why is this play on Jared Allen winning above 55% of the time? All the books have him as like a minus 160 favorite. Pinnacle, one of the sharpest books, has him as a minus 166 favorite to go over. Minus 200 favorite means 2-1 favorite, right? 2/3 to win, 66.67% to win. So he's not minus 200. He's not a 2-1 betting favorite, but I mean, he's minus 160. Minus 150 means 1.5 to 1 betting favorite, 60% to win, which you can kind of see through an odds converter calculator. And you can see PrizePicks just bump that down actually, right? Minus 200. If a football team is minus 200 in the game, they're 2-1 favorites, 2/3 to win. Minus 300, 3-1 favorites, 3/4 to win the game. And again, on Dabble, we just have to win our picks, like 55% of the time to be profitable long-term. And the reason this play on Allen is so good is all the books have his over super heavily favored. I mean, minus 166 favorite to go over. So best plays on PrizePicks. I mean, more value on ParlayPlay and Dabble right now. And again, if you want to make money sports betting, you're just following the value. But Keegan Murray under 6.5 rebounds is a great play on PrizePicks. So let's go back to PrizePicks. And it's just dry. I mean, it's pretty dry, right? Underdog, pretty dry. Okay, ParlayPlay, and I mean, Dabble's the book with value right now in ParlayPlay, which is why, I always recommend use as many bucks as possible. Never know where value is going to be on a given day. Sometimes there's a ton of good bets on Dabble. Other times it's PrizePicks. Other times it's FanDuel. Sometimes there's really good bets on Fliff. We found an arbitrage play earlier to make a risk-free 10, 20 bucks off Fliff. So the more books you use, the better. Anyways. Man, we have a block shot play, AD under 8.5 first quarter points. I mean, there's just a shit ton of value on Dabble right now. Like, here's another play that looks really good, right? It seems like a random bet. Nashville Predators, Alexander, Carrier, over 1.5 block shots. DraftKings has him as a minus 150 favorite to go over. Not as many data points. There's not as many books posting odds on blocked shots. But still, seems pretty dang good. But anyways, we'll call this live stream a day for now. Hopefully it was helpful. And thanks so much for your time.